I paid less for this plane ticket than I did for my last tank of gas. Seriously, but let's be real. Flying the airline that everyone loves to hate comes with a warning label the size of a jumbo jet. They're famous for their crazy cheap fares and infamous for about everything else. So is Allegiant Air a brilliant travel hack for seeing the country on a shoestring budget? Or is it a full-blown nightmare waiting to happen at 30,000 feet? I flew with them to find out if you can actually snag a good deal without completely losing your mind. The booking process starts with this incredible rush. You see a flight for the price that looks like a typo, like $38, $39 one way. You feel like you won the lottery. Hey, it was $45 to fly from Kansas City to Fort Walton / Destin, so it was a great price. But that feeling, it disappears pretty quickly. Allegiant is an ultra low-cost airline, which means that first price just gets you a seat on the plane. That's it. Everything else costs extra. Want to pick your seat? That'll be a fee. Even for the dreaded middle seat in the very back? Yeah, it's extra. Need to bring a carry-on for the overhead bin? Yep, there's a fee. Trust me, it's way cheaper to pay for it while you're booking, though, instead of at the airport. Checking a bag? Another fee. They'll even charge you a few dollars just to print your boarding pass at the airport. I went with a personal item and the cheapest seat on the plane, which was assigned to me at check-in. So this unbelievably cheap flight stayed that way for me. But if you add anything else, it can almost double the cost of your flight, if not even more. Normally, you'd expect the airline to include this. It's not exactly a scam, but you do have to know it going into the price what you're getting. One thing I actually like about Allegiant is they often fly out of smaller secondary airports. This can be a huge plus, usually meaning shorter security lines and way less chaos than a major hub. But this is also where you notice their bare bones staffing. At some airports, you might find yourself waiting in a super long line for check-in because they have limited kiosks. I made sure to check in online and get my boarding pass on my phone to dodge any extra fees. That's a critical tip. The boarding process was, well, let's call it efficient. There's no fancy zone system. It's pretty much just a mad dash for the plane. Since I was assigned a seat at check-in, I was just on board at that time. There was overhead bin space, which was great. While some of the staff can be incredibly friendly, customer service is one of the biggest complaints you'll see online, especially when things go wrong. Stepping onto an Allegiant plane is, well, an experience in itself. Those seats are famously thin, almost no padding, and here's the kicker. They don't recline, like, at all. There's barely any space between your seat and the one in front of you. It's like 30 inches, which is light, but pretty standard for a budget airline. It's fine on a short flight, but I wouldn't want to be stuck in one for hours. And don't expect any amenity. There's no Wi-Fi, no TVs in the back of the seats, and no free snacks or even a cup of water. Everything, and I mean everything, including a bottle of water, has to be bought from their menu. But here's a pro tip. Bring your own snacks, fill up a water bottle after you get through security. It'll save you some cash and make the flight a lot more bearable. The cabin on the plane, though, was clean, but I've seen a lot of mixed reviews on this as well, with some people reporting pretty grimy planes. Okay, so let's talk about the elephant in the room. The single biggest risk you take when flying Allegiant is reliability. The airline is notorious for long delays and last-minute cancellations. Everything's been on time so far. This is the first time. A quick search online will show you endless stories of people left stranded for hours, sometimes maybe even days. When things go sideways, passengers say the airline offers very little help, offers just a refund for the flight and no compensation for the hotel you now have to book or other plans you had to make. Their flight schedule is really thin, meaning they might only fly a certain route a couple times a week. So if your flight gets canceled, the next one on Allegiant might not be for another 2 or 3 days. While data shows their on-time performance might be getting better, the risk of a major disruption is very real and something you absolutely have to consider. That's the reality of flying America's most talked about budget airline. But I want to hear from you. Have you flown Allegiant? Was it a massive travel win or a total disaster? Drop your story in the comments below. So what's the final call? Honestly, it all depends on the kind of traveler you are. Allegiant is a smart travel hack if you are flying a short, direct route, especially between smaller cities. You're traveling light with just a personal item that fits into the seat. That way you can avoid those baggage fees. If your plans are flexible and a delay of a few hours, even a day, won't wreck your whole trip. And most importantly, if your absolute number one priority is getting the lowest price possible. However, Allegiant is a total nightmare if you have to be somewhere on a tight schedule or you're trying to make a connecting flight. You actually value comfort and things like in-flight entertainment. You need customer service you can count on if something goes wrong. And for business travelers, families with little kids, or anyone whose schedule is set in stone, I would strongly suggest looking elsewhere. Ultimately, Allegiant delivers on its promise of cheap flights, but that low price comes with big trade-off of comfort, service, and most critically, reliability. You really truly get what you pay for.